Welcome to episode number 94 of The Closing Table with Lawyers Title. I'm your host, Tamera, and today's special guest is Jeff Jannasch to talk about how he's lending a helping hand to realtors in this tough market right after this.
Welcome to The Closing Table with host Tamera, where we break down how to be successful in real estate and what it's really like to work in the real estate business. This is The Closing Table with Lawyers Title.
Welcome back again. I'm your host, Tamera, and today's guest is my friend Jeff Jannasch, and he is the Executive Vice President and Branch Manager of Town Square Mortgage. A lot of you guys are already going to know his face. He's very visible in real estate, but apparently not on social media. We're going to work on that, Jeff, right?
Not as much lately.
Today, you're on social media, and let's talk about how we're helping realtors in this super fun market.
Oh, yeah. We're having fun. We're having fun, for sure.
We're having fun.
Yeah. Just don't hit your head on the wall too many times.
Right? Okay. You've been doing this for 27 years. 27 years.
A long time.
And you've seen crazy changes and crazy markets.
Yep.
What do we need? What does everybody need to understand right now?
Yeah, that's the question.
It's a big one.
Yeah, that is the big question. And you know what? It's very simple that no matter what happens, things are going to change. And it's sometimes we're going to think the sky is falling. And whenever you think that, it's just, you've got to adjust as you go. I mean, it's just adjustments. You got to make adjustments. I can't even tell you how many times that I thought it's over. Real estate, as we know it, is done. You know, we've had NAR, we've had the mortgage crash, we've had the COVID crash afterwards.
Great recession.
Oh my God.
Recession, all the things.
You name it. And you know what? It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Real estate keeps going. And when we think it's about to change massively and, you know, how we do business, it makes small adjustments. So
I will, but I'm gonna tell you something. This is a very common conversation that I have right now. Okay, incredibly common. I just came from a realtor event, and one of my clients, she's a producing realtor. She's been in the business for a really long time. She knows how to do her stuff. She's like, Tamera, I've had one closing this year. Yeah, and I said, how many listings do you have right now? I said 4 or 5. You typically carry 4 or 5, maybe 6 listings at a time. She's an individual producer. She does it all herself.
Right.
Yeah, she has 1. No showings. None showings.
Yeah, that is the challenge.
And so, look, this is an incredibly common conversation, though. And so what are we saying to our realtor friends to keep them pepped up?
Positive, right?
Positive, moving down the road. Is there do you have some secret sauce, some magical advice? No.
I don't think there's any magical advice. I think yeah, right. I wish there was because, man, I've needed it in the past. Here's what I would say. This is to any agent that gets in the business, that you have to do the basics. And sometimes what we do is over time, we get stop doing the basics, right? We start trying to figure out, okay, here's the new thing. And I try this, I try that, but you just got to get back to the basics. And the basics are create a database, reach out to the people you know, get your face out there in social events and talk to people about real estate. And that's not the reason you're in social events, but lead the conversation there. It's very easy to lead a conversation to real estate. When you go, hey, you know, rates have been so high, it's been crazy or whatever, people bite. They want to talk real estate. Everybody wants to talk real estate.
Our friend Tom May.
Yes, I love Tom. Saw him today.
We love Tom. I know. I saw him. Anyway, I see him all the time. Saw his wife this morning. He was just on the podcast and pretty much said that's what he does.
That's it. Old school. And he does it old school.
He's been doing this like 20 years.
Right.
21. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, and
that's exactly what he does.
Great dude. He's got a plan. He's not just, hey, I'm just going to go out. They're tactical what they're doing. I mean, they have a plan, but then they incorporate it into their personal life. So they incorporate real estate into personal. And I feel like the day you do that, it changes. Like it changes the game because it's not like you're out. It's not like you're not enjoying being around. You're not good friends with these people, but you still like your goal, you know, you're trying to get people to want to buy real estate. It's usually a good time to buy real estate. I mean, everybody always says, is it a good time? And I'm like, yes. I mean,
yeah, Jesse and I have a friend that says it's always a good time to buy real estate and there's riches and niches. That was the one I thought of this morning. That's a Nickism. But sorry, Bar. Sorry. Anyway, yes. Yeah, it's always a good time to buy real estate. Well, look, and there was I'm sorry, I know other lenders. I won't talk about who they are.
Oh,
but
my God.
Anyway, he was saying something about, rates potentially dropping and whatever.
Right.
And if they do.
Right. What's going to happen? So right now you've got this unique market, in my opinion, that you've got a lot of people the people that are listing right now have to. They're not wanting to.
That's
They've
right.
just given up and like, okay, I got to do it, right? They've been holding off as long as they could, and now they're having to do it. So, and there's not enough buyers in the market right now because actually, if you go and look at the numbers from last year to this year, they're up. There's more transactions. More transactions than there were last year.
Yes, I just had an economist come into one of my meetings, and he talked about how it is up since last year, which we were all like, what?
Right. It doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that way. And there's a couple of reasons why. I feel like there's certain markets that have just dried up. Like you could be in one market and it's still moving pretty good. The other one's dried up. So if you're so into one market and that market's died, then you're stuck.
You need a new market.
Right. You've got to go adjust. You got to adjust, get into another market. So, don't be one dimensional, right? That's one thing we'll probably take away from this. And number two is, I think with the market the way it is right now, when rates do drop, and I think we all know it's going to happen. We just don't know when.
Sure.
And we're going to.
The predictions are Q4, right?
Right. Now Q4, Q1 of next year.
Do you know how many times I've heard Q4?
You know how many times I've predicted it and been wrong? I was at a meeting today and I said, hey, when the rates come down, I'm going to let y'all know I was right.
Well, if you just say every quarter, then
I'm just going to predict it's going to come down eventually because they will. I think there's some things that are happening right now.
That's all we can do is just laugh at
That's
this
all
point.
we can.
It's all ridiculous.
I don't even predict anymore because
talking about, Trump trying to fire Powell. And, I know he's doing it, but
I think in May of next year he comes. He's out anyway, right? He's done anyway. So we know in May the probably rates are going to drop of 2026. So that you put that on your calendar. But what's going to happen is whenever they do, if they were smart, they would already be kind of slowly dropping them and just use it like a dial, like drop, see what happens. And if you see the market kind of going back,
didn't
pull it back. Didn't it? Well, CPI was as expected.
Yeah.
The tariffs haven't made any dramatic change.
Sure.
So what I would tell you is let's go ahead and pull them down, see what happens. Pull them down again, see what happens. What we tend to do is like crank them all the way down, crank them all the way up right at once. And when they do that, it's just chaos.
Well, maybe you could be the new.
Yeah. That would be out of nowhere. They'd be like, "Who is this guy again?"
And then
I'm a lot of fun though.
Podcast for sure. Anyway, okay. So while we're trying to help our realtors understand what's going on, or we're not trying to help them understand, we're just trying to comfort them.
I think just comfort them. And here's the thing: when we take Tom as a perfect example, like just get back to the basics. Something. If you're doing one throughout this year, there's something not right. There's something that needs to change or adjust. And it's usually not huge adjustments. It's minor adjustments. So the takeaway from 27 years is if you look at who I am today versus where I was 15 years ago, I've made a lot of little adjustments along the way. I'm same challenges that a real estate agent is. I have the same challenges. They're a little different, but the foundation, they're all the same. So just make those little adjustments. Focus on that database a little bit more. Look at another market. Try something new, but don't do 10 things at once.
But don't scrap your whole business plan.
No.
Okay.
Don't change everything because you're not going to stay with it, and you're not.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You want to kind of just add.
You also already have a secret sauce as to what makes you a successful realtor. You don't want to completely deviate from what's made you succcesul for 20 years. We're going to use Tom as the guinea pig for today's. I hope you're okay with that, Tom.
I'm down.
But I think he's a great example of he onboarded his daughter to help with some social media marketing.
Talked to him about it today.
So he's expanding a little bit more, trying to expand his reach into social media marketing. It was super smart. Embrace it. We all need to be embracing it.
He's old school.
We're there, yes. And so, but he's not scrapping his entire business to do that. He's adding to it, right? It's just he's just a little bit at a time, right?
That is the way you do it.
I think that's to your point.
So I really do. I mean, like he told me the other day, hey, I do these invitations over at my house with these events and, games and stuff like that. Well, he'll have 10 people over. Well, he's going to get to know those 10 people very well. And you know what? Him and Angela are very smart. They know what they're doing. I mean, they tend to pull things into real estate, or they bring up the conversation. There's nobody in the world that doesn't want to talk real estate. That's what I've determined. There's nobody. If you're renting, you still want to kind of know what's going on. Maybe I want to get in. When can I get in? If you own, you want to know, what is my asset doing? What is it worth? What's the market doing? What's going on in the market? You always want to know. Like, whether you're in or you're not, you still want to know about it. So everybody will bite on that conversation. You just have to bring it up where it's not, where it looks like you're selling. Hey, I want to talk to you about real estate. Just bring up like, oh my God, you aren't going to believe what happened. Just bring up a story.
No,
the next thing you know, you're talking real estate, and then you go from there.
And I 100% agree with your saying, and it naturally comes up in conversation, because one of the first questions that people ask when they meet you is,
right, what are rates?
No, what do you do for a living?
Oh yeah. First thing they ask me, like, I'm in mortgage. Oh, what are rates?
Yes.
Here we go
with the real estate talk. I mean, nobody knows what a title company does, so I have to explain.
I still don't, by the way.
How are you still going?
Really, I don't even know what
you go sign your docs.
Kidding.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah,
that's how we do.
But once they find out I'm in real estate, then I get all of the stuff too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's just a natural progression in conversation, social conversation.
That's it.
So I agree 100%. Just get back to your basics. Put a little bit of extra sauce on something, right, that you want to try, but don't scrap your whole business plan or redirect, what you're doing.
Don't change it.
To start a whole new thing, right? It's not the time for that. Consistency is the biggest thing, right? And let's not give up yet. We'll burn it down. We'll burn it all down at some point. Okay, so, that was one of my questions. Okay, can we give our frustrated realtors a pep talk right now? Didn't we just do that?
I feel like we just gave a pep talk.
That. Okay.
Come on, y'all.
So let's talk about what you bring to the table to help realtors.
Yeah, I would say that Jeff Jannasch, what I do is just my years of experience. I've been doing this for 27 years. I've worked every market. I grew up in Garland. When I first got in the business, my first 10 years in the business was all in Garland, Mesquite. And that whole East Dallas area. Yeah. And let me tell you, there's some tough loans that were out there, right? I mean, it was like you had to be creative. It just taught me a lot of it wasn't hey, I'm putting 20% down, I have an 800 credit score. These were people that had no credit scores. They had bad credit scores. So I learned how to fix credit on the fly. I learned
you were scrappy,
right? You had to learn how to problem solve. Yeah, it was always problem solving. Hey, let's add your dad to the loan, and then we'll refinance them. I mean, just all kinds of different things. So I think what I bring to the table personally is just my experience, my ability to talk to clients. I think whether I'm talking to a client as a first-time home buyer who's buying a $180,000 home, or I'm talking to one that's buying a $3.5 million home. I can talk to both those clients and make them feel comfortable, because it's a totally different conversation.
Totally different conversation.
I mean, depending on who you're talking to, and
I want to know where that $180,000 house is.
Right. I don't know. We just closed one. I don't remember where it was.
Sidebar.
Actually. Yeah. Right. Sidebar. We'll go there later. But I think that's one of the things. And then my team, Daniel, that works on my team, Daniel Vayman, he's worked for me for 14 years. I hired him. He had a financial background. He was a financial advisor. And then when he came, that's where he came from, right? And he just said, I said he'd be great because he's really good at, he's very OCD on the spreadsheets. He's my spreadsheet guy.
I got it.
Right? And so whenever we got going, he goes, I want to go get my master's in marketing while we're working together. And I was like, okay, well, let's do that as long as it doesn't get in the way of what we do.
Sure.
And he's like, oh yeah, it won't get in the way. Of course it did. Yeah. It drove me crazy, but that's another story for another day. But he got his master's in, marketing, and he applied it to real estate. And it's actually helped us so much because we sit down with agents and we talk plans. And it's not just, hey, here, I want to refer me loans. It's here's how we can help you. Let's talk about what you're doing. And we hold people accountable. We follow up with them, so we do a lot of things that I would say are outside of the box, from a mortgage standpoint.
Sounds like kind of more of a realtor coaching program of some sort.
It sounds like it, right? But they're our business partner.
Sure.
And the way I look at it and the way we look at it is if you're doing more business, we're doing more business.
Yes, I like them when everybody wins.
Right.
I like it.
And he just brings so much to the table and he loves that. I mean, he really gets into it. We sit up and everybody's plan is different based on your personality and what you like to do and where you're social, where you like to hang out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Some people are kind of more introverted, so they do business a different way. But there's a way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's making your calls. It's creating your database. It is the most boring basics that none of us want to do. And we all hate it. And we're like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Well, and people are just, I think when I heard this a lot when I was had a brief stint as a recruiter, and I heard this a ton. I still hear it today. When you talk to someone who just came into the business, it's like, well, I like to look at pretty houses and I like helping people. That's always the reason why someone becomes a realtor. But nobody tells them, well, actually.
That's great. But
actually, there's a lot of really tedious things you have to do every day to be successful in any sales position, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time internally. I'm super nerdy with my CRM, and I taught Phoebe to be super nerdy with her CRM. Right. And it's our tool. It's what we have to have in order, like, how do you know who you're supposed to call today or who you're supposed to, who you haven't seen in a while or whatever the answers are, or whatever follow-up you need to do from an appointment. How are you supposed to know what you're supposed to do next if you don't have a viable CRM?
You have to have something that gives you a visual on what you have to, first of all, have a plan. And then secondly, you got to have a visual of your plan of what you're doing and who you're going to target, right? And it sounds super calculated all the time, but eventually it just becomes just routine.
Well, but later it helps you. No, first you got to help it, right? Which is you have to do the big heavy lifting up front, right? But once you're done with that, then it helps you throughout the year.
I mean, it's huge. And when you say you got to do the big heavy lifting up front,
meaning the data entry and the setup.
And I always, because that's what keeps everybody from doing it. And reality is, it's not that much. You could put in a few names a day.
Well, sure, sure. Yes, I agree.
Or like I hire someone that is like
hire a VA.
If you know kids or whatever,
Fervor.com.
15 years old, they'll fill it up for you. But just you've got to add that information in there because once you have that information, it's gold. That's all these companies out there. They just want your information because once they have your information, then they know what they can put information about you, and you know how to communicate with people. You don't want to go to someone and invite them to a happy hour. People that don't drink, right? I mean, it's just. I mean, that's a lot. Basically, a simple one, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. But there's a lot of things you can do with that.
Your dollars are in your database,
right?
Wait, did I create a new one? The dollars are in your database. I'm writing that down.
She's gonna go pull that up tomorrow and lock that down.
I got one now. Okay. No, I totally agree with you. I don't have a lot of conversations about a CRM because a lot of I'm very blessed. Yeah. Okay. I'm very grateful for the things that I have and the level of producer that I get to work with now. They have those things, right? But this is a basic. Oh, wait, that's question number 5. What are the basics we should remember?
We just talked about the basics. We've already hit that one. The basics are that.
Well, you have to start there. Yes.
Create a brand. Know what you want people to see. That's where you start. I think first and foremost, before I start reaching out to people and doing anything, it's like, what do they need to see? What am I trying to be? And you want to be yourself, right? The more you're trying to be something you're not, the more it's going to be obvious, right? It's going to come out. So, but create your brand and have a vision of what it is you want to be. And every day be obsessed about, this is what I want to be, because eventually you will be that. If you just, hey, this is what I'm going to be, this is what I'm going to be, eventually you start, all your actions will follow that.
Whatever your goals are.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. And so first of all, build that brand and what you want to be. And then secondly is do the basics, do the database, do the calls, the social media. Hey, like their post. Oh, hope you're doing well, whatever. I know that stuff is just, I mean, for a realtor, that is crucial because it is like in any sales, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, the more, you mentioned I'm not on social media as much anymore. I'm not, I should be more. I've been very blessed with my, people that I reach out to them in a little bit different way. But if I did that, it would help me more.
Well, we're starting today, Jeff.
Right.
We're starting
Here we
again
go.
today.
All right.
We're starting again today.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, we're starting again today. No, I agree with you. And look, I have realtors that have their tried and true ways of building their business. Okay. And they do not deviate from that.
Right.
And they are the most successful realtors right now.
Right.
They're closing deals still because they have their pipelines built. They have throughout the year already, I mean, already it's July, it's almost August.
We're over halfway through.
Yeah, we're over halfway through. So, I think that the consistency, sticking with the basics,
right,
knowing what your secret sauce is, don't deviate, right? Add sprinkle a little something new in there, but don't scrap the whole show.
Right.
Okay. I think all the things that we're talking to are really valuable right now. And understand that, I tell this to other realtors. I think there is value in this too. You're not alone. Okay. You're not the only one that's has a slow business right now. Okay.
Everybody's struggling.
Everybody's having a slower business right now, whatever that looks like for them.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we talk about this in group settings all the time. And I think that's also, there's value in that, knowing that you're not the only one that's having a harder time right now. Okay. And so I think knowing that is helpful.
Yeah. I think when you're seeing the market down for whatever reason, like you said, everybody seems to feel like they're down right now. When in reality, the numbers don't really show that. But
the numbers don't show that. They show a 15%.
I have to remind myself that all the time because it feels that way, but it's not. But what you're seeing right now is you're seeing a lot of people start to get out of the business.
Yeah.
And there is just a lot of people getting out of the business. And so that, you know what? That's when companies do their best whenever the market goes down. That's when you take market share. So whenever people get out of the business, now if you're doing your little things and reaching out to people, I did a thing one day. Dan and I were doing this, and it was kind of a test. We had a client or a friend of ours, and we just wanted to go see how many realtors was he friends with. Like we were just going, that he was connected with on, Instagram and Facebook. And so we went on, I think we started with Facebook, and he had like 26 realtors that he had relationships or connected with in there that were friends with him, on Facebook, which think about that, 26. I mean, and so we were just saying, like, if you have a client and you don't stay with them, they're going to be gone.
Sure.
Because one of those 26 people is probably going to be reaching out, trying to post information, show him, hey, here's something, they look like they know what they're talking about.
Right.
They're the expert, or they're being friendly and staying in contact with them. That's who they're going to go. People at the time when they decide, okay, I want to go buy a house, they kind of look up and go, okay, who do I need to call? After 5 or 6 years, I mean, if you're not staying in front of them, they're going to go with whoever they can communicate with and whoever they have the relationship at that moment.
Well, what is the stat about realtors and repeat business? And
I saw this one the other day. This one was amazing.
Like less than 10%.
No,
if consumers go back and use their same realtor again.
Yeah, it was like whenever they did a survey, and 80% of all people after their closing said they would use their realtor again, and it was less than 20 actually did.
And if I had less than 20% of my clients that came back and used me again, I would be out of a job.
Right.
So you do have, look, my point in that is not to bag on the realtor. I never want to do that. No. But
it's a tough job.
It is a very tough job.
It may be the toughest. I mean, we can debate about that. But
yeah, we can all debate about that. But it is a very difficult and challenging job. I've heard some of the stories from my clients. They call me and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I hear those and I'm like, wow, let them behind the desk doing financing.
But I got my own wows too.
Right, yeah. So, ours are just
anyway, this is not the point. That's not the point. The point is that I think keeping up with your database is incredibly important for your future self, right? Because the people that you've already bought and sold a house with are going to need to do it again.
Right.
Or that's one thing that Tom talks about. He's helped the grandparents. Now he's helping grandkids.
Well, those are your people that are going to refer you business.
He's gone from the grandparent to the parent to the kids.
Yeah.
And now he's helping the kids find houses. Yeah. And I thought that was super neat because that does tell a positive tale about repeat business, right? And so I think it all goes back to the CRM though, right? So you got to start there and keep up with your database.
Database. When you say CRM, your database you can put into different CRMs and do different things with it. But your database just comes to like a simple Google sheet or Excel, and you just put your names, have, columns, things that you want to separate, that you want to market towards, right? I mean, we're all different, and our personalities will determine what those columns are going to be sometimes. Do you want to know, you need to know the names of their kids or their pets' names or whatever, because if you text them and say, hey, how is little Johnny, do you have his birthday or whatever? I mean, that's very personal, right? They're going to be like, oh, that's really nice. You know what I'm saying? And then they're going to think of you. That's, hey, I'm looking to go buy a house or whatever. And they're like, hey, you should call, Tom or whoever it is. And that's how it all works. I mean,
you've actually given me some good ideas, because I need to do some more slicing and dicing in my CRM. I've got a lot of people grouped, like you're talking about, but I need to do some more. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. Okay, so let's talk about some of the listings that are sitting in the market. You have something that can help them. Yeah,
I do. I think we have a really good product. So, and I'll try to be as brief as I can on this. So we have a bridge loan, right? I mean, bridge is like, hey, what is, there's all different forms of bridge. Bridge is a generic term. Everybody's like, well, how does a bridge loan work? Well, it depends on where you go, right? So the bridge loan has different companies do it a different way. It's just bridging equity from a property towards another property. But what we do is, instead of that, we do 100% financing on the one they're buying, and then we just cross collateralize.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, and so we don't touch that current house. We just do 100% financing on this one, and then put a lien on that property, and we got to have enough equity. We do the equity check, make sure they have enough equity.
Sure.
And they don't have to qualify for both homes. So that's what makes it really cool.
Yeah.
Is that they don't have a payment for over 90 days. They close at the beginning of the month. It's almost 120 days before their first mortgage payment on the bridge loan. And then secondly is, we try to help them, if you will, try to go through the different scenarios with them, make sure that scenario makes sense for them, right? Because eventually they may have a bridge loan payment as well, right? But they're going to do 100% financing. So it gives them the option to not go in and have to do a contingent offer, or they can move in the house now, they can stage their house. And what we found is, what all the agents are telling us, that if they can stage that house up front, get them out, stage it right, then they can sell that house for more or quicker, which is a big deal in this market.
That's what they say.
Right. And to me, from an agent standpoint, I'd want that all day long, because I'm getting the immediate sale, right? And everybody we've had in the bridge loan, we've been doing this about a year, almost a year and a half.
Okay.
And we have not had one agent not be on the listing side. So they have not lost the listing yet.
Huh, very cool.
Right? And which is amazing, actually. Because,
it's very cool.
Yeah, so it really helps them do it. And the other thing it does was unintended, but we do an appraisal on their departure property, the one that they're, listing. And that appraisal helps them negotiate and come up with that sales price, right? Because, when you go to do a listing there, hey, I want to sell it for this, but that appraisal helps a lot come up to that. Hey, here's where we need to list at.
Huh. I mean, you've told me about the product. I think I think you need to be telling people about it, because it eliminates the contingency. It gives you more freedom with the property that you're listing, and allows them to pack their bags and move on to the next house.
Right. It's the least expensive one out there on the market that I've seen, by the way. I mean, there's cost to any bridge loan you do or whatever. Ours seems to be the least expensive from what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So,
well, we'll make sure that they have your contact information, tag you on all the posts, so that they can reach out to you and get more information on it. Any success stories you want to share?
Yeah.
We need some positivity, Jeff.
Yeah. You
got some fun success stories?
I do. So the other day, this one was a big one. So with a lot of companies, so we had this, we were doing a purchase on this loan, and the appraisal came back. And this was like a unique property, a little bit unique. And it came in like $100,000 low.
Unique how?
Like it was a historical property.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Because there's some unique houses.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Depending on what we're talking about. It was a historical property. And what happened was, we were like, okay. And then everybody just thought, okay, this thing's about to die, right? Like immediately. So we do a reconsideration of value, which is what you have to do, disputing the value. Rarely does the appraiser ever change that, right?
Okay.
They just go in. Well, the agents gave us good information. They're like, hey, here's other comps. They didn't really use this, and it's kind of unique. We need to go over here. So they gave us good information. We went back to the appraiser. They said, nope, keeping the value the way it is. So we go to our company. Our company's very good about this. So we got to deem the appraisal deficient. So we got to order a new appraisal. And with the new appraisal, I said, hey, all that information you gave me, let's give that to this new appraiser going in.
Yeah.
And they did that, and it came in $10,000 short. So we gained $90,000 on the other one. They end up getting it together and closing it, which was awesome. But it just reminded me that most companies will not allow that. They will not allow you to deem that appraisal deficient.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So we use a panel of appraisers, and on our panel, when that person came in that low and wouldn't really work with us, I mean, obviously that's someone we may not want to work with in the future.
Yeah, no
but,
kidding.
I mean, communications is key on that. So we're communicating with everybody. So we felt like that was a success story. And we have all kinds. I think another one that I did the other day I felt really good about is client called me. They had a 547 credit score.
Ooh.
And they didn't know about it, just FYI.
What?
So they had no idea. And what had happened was the student loans, I don't know if you've known, but back from COVID, back in January, they came due from COVID. Okay.
Yes.
So now they're due. No one's touched them, seen them for a while. Well, this person had co-signed, for his son, right?
Yeah.
So now I pull his credit, he has a 547. So we're in June, or it was May at the time. No payments have been made, right? 120-day lates on his credit report, like 5 different accounts. Score was like 547. So I said, listen, you need to call, education, call them, talk to them, tell them what the situation is, get it current, and ask them if they'll remove the late payments, because they may work with you, especially since you're co-signing on this. Mm-hmm. They said, okay.
Oh, very cool.
So he got it current, did it, updated. I mean, his score went up like 150 points.
Yeah. So
it was a game changer. So it was really cool to see that in action. So, I mean, again, those are just the wins that I can remember lately. But yeah, I mean, we're really just trying, there's many more I could tell you, but they'll get boring. But all that to say is that what we do is we really try to help the client, and we're trying to problem solve.
Sure.
And with our company, I would just tell you with my company, some of my partners, I'm one of the owners too, and we have owners that originate. 5 of our owners at our company originate, which is very unusual.
That's interesting.
Right? And there's 300 employees at our company. It's not like we're this tiny little company.
Yeah.
So that's saying, like Joella, she's one of my partners. But we have some, really smart people at our company. So what we do is we have these little chats in there, and we'll go, hey, I've got this situation. Can you look at this file? Can we look at this together? So we'll go in and look at files and help each other. Like, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I mean, we're looking at it with a lot of years experience. Okay. I mean, we've got probably at least a handful of people with over 20 years experience.
Unbelievable. Well, I believe it. I mean, you guys have been a really great partner to us, so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. That. And I really urge you guys to give Jeff and his team an opportunity to work with you guys. You've worked really hard to build a positive relationship with the realtors, and I have appreciation for that.
Yeah, same. You've done a great job too. I would just say that, I knew you through past other industries. And then you got on this side, and I was like, oh yeah, I always liked her. I always thought, I think we worked together way back.
Yeah.
And I was helping you on something else, and you came and we started talking. I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's talk.
Yeah. And I think it was, when did you start Town Square?
We started that in 2009, which is like the worst time to start a company, by the way.
Yeah, I remember 2009. That was fun. Okay. Well, it was worse than it is now. So there you go. We're going to end on a high note today.
A lot of sleepless nights. Didn't know if the company was going to stay in business.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Today's not so bad, is it?
No. I see these now, and I'm like, yeah, we got some challenges. But
we're okay. We're
gonna fight through this.
Everybody, it's okay. Right. Anyway, yes, I remember. I think I was just coming into business when you started that. Okay. So yeah,
I didn't know that. I can remember the exact timing, but yeah. It has been the real estate world. Like we'll hopefully we can end on this. Is that it is going? There's going to be major challenges ahead of us that we don't even know about right now.
Just get ready. Retiring before the next one.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope I am too. And I hope we both are. Yeah, let's catch out. Oh my God! Every time, like, but this business sucks you in, man. It just does. Like, you get incredible highs and incredible lows.
Oh, no kidding.
That's what I would say. Real estate is. I can't tell you early on how many times I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep fighting and just don't
you
quit.
Better be saving your pennies for a rainy day because sometimes it rains, okay?
I mean, there's guys that have been killing it and all of a sudden the market just turned off.
And they got nothing.
Oh, and they're just living like... and so,
yeah,
exactly
I know some of
those.
those.
Save your money.
Yeah, save your money. That's another. We'll leave it there for today. Though.
Right.
Thank you for joining me today. It was good to have you on the show. Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
So that's another episode. Well, that's a wrap on episode number 94. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gady. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to work with you and make it a great day.